All right, welcome to the Site Orientation Team. I'm your Site Safety Officer today, and we're going to talk about one of the absolute highest risk activities we face here, on the ground. Well, actually, scratch that, off the ground. I'm talking about working at height. Whether you're going to be up on scaffolding, climbing ladders, out on rooftops, or even just standing near a floor opening, a single mistake up there can result in a seriously bad day. So we're going to break down the key safety requirements right now to make sure absolutely everyone is crystal clear on the procedures.
So, are you ready to go home safely today? I know, it's a blunt question right out of the gate, but getting your attention is literally my job. A single mistake on a roof or a scaffold can quite literally cost a life. Safety isn't just some boring box we check, it's a commitment we make to ourselves and to the rest of the crew every single morning. Keep that question in the back of your mind as we go through the rest of this training, okay? Okay, here's a quick look at exactly what we're covering in today's explainer before anyone is authorized to step foot off the ground. We'll start with a welcome to the site, look at the hierarchy of control, jump into inspecting your safety gear, cover scaffolding rules, and then finish up with ladders, emergencies, and weather.
All right, Section 1. Welcome to the site, and let's talk about work at height hazards.
Before we even think about strapping on gear, we got to get real about what actually constitutes working at height and what we're facing out there. This is the reality of our site hazards, guys. We're dealing with the risk of falls from unprotected edges, the terrifying potential of collapsing scaffolding if it's not built right, and even things coming at us from above, like falling tools. Slips and trips from poor housekeeping and improper ladder use round out the list. And remember, things like overhead obstructions, nearby power lines, and weather exposure, those require a thorough risk assessment and a work permit before you even think about starting the job.
Moving right along to Section 2, the hierarchy of control, or as I like to call it, preventing falls first.
This hierarchy right here, this is your fundamental rulebook for staying alive when elevating off the ground. The whole point is to understand the logic of these 3 steps. Our absolute first priority, step 1, is to just avoid working at height entirely if the job can be done from the ground, right? Simple. Now, if we can't avoid it, we move to step 2, prevent the fall from happening in the first place using guardrails and safe platforms. And only if prevention is literally impossible do we move to step 3, actually protecting workers using fall arrest systems.
Now, I really want to highlight the crucial difference between steps 2 and 3. On the one hand, we have fixed platforms, guardrails, toe boards, barricades. That is fall prevention. It stops the fall from ever happening. It keeps you safe right there on the platform. On the other hand, we have fall protection, your personal fall arrest systems like your harnesses. That only helps you after you have already fallen off the edge. Think of it like this. A toe board keeps you on the platform. A harness saves you midair. We vastly prefer the first one, but for sure, you've got to be prepared with the second one when it's required.
Okay, Section 3, inspecting your safety gear and the required PPE.
So if we are at that point where we're relying on fall protection, we're basically looking at our last line of defense. Consider this mandatory PPE checklist your daily uniform. You need your safety helmet, and notice it says, with a chin strap. A helmet doesn't do you an ounce of good if it flies off on your way down. You need a full-body harness, a shock-absorbing lanyard, safety shoes, proper gloves, and a high-vis vest. If you are missing a single one of these items, you do not go up. Period.
And notice the big bold word here, before. I literally cannot emphasize the word inspect enough. You have to physically check your harness and lanyard before every single use. Look for fraying, check those buckles, check the stitching. And once you're actually up there, you must always connect to an approved certified anchor point. Using damaged gear or just hooking into some random pipe is a massive site violation. Your life literally hangs in the balance of that inspection. Shifting gears to Section 4, Scaffolding Rules and Safe Scaffold Use.
Since we use temporary platforms basically every single day, the golden rule is that scaffolding is only erected, altered, and dismantled by trained and authorized scaffolders. But if you're working on one, you need to know what a safe one looks like. Let's run through it. It needs a stable foundation with proper base plates. It must have full platform boards, absolutely no gaps. Proper horizontal and vertical bracing. It's got to have guardrails, mid-rails, and toe boards to act as that fall prevention we just talked about. And a safe access ladder. Also, under no circumstances do you ever use makeshift items like boxes or oil drums on top of a scaffold to get extra height. Just don't do it.
Do not use unsafe or untagged scaffolds. That is a hard, site-wide rule. If a scaffold is incomplete, damaged, overloaded, or just lacks the proper authorization tags proving a competent person cleared it, nobody climbs it. Absolutely no exceptions.
So who actually decides if a scaffold gets that safe tag? A competent inspector. And these mandatory inspections have to happen under 4 very specific conditions: before the scaffold is used for the very first time, immediately after any structural alteration, after severe weather, and periodically based on our site rules. Basically, if a crazy storm rolls through overnight, that scaffold is completely off limits the next morning until a competent person re-verifies that it's structurally sound.
And that brings us to our final section, Section 5, Ladders, Emergencies, and Weather Protocols.
When it comes to our access tools, specifically ladders, there is really just one number you need to burn into your brain: 3. That represents the points of contact you must maintain at all times when climbing. That means 2 feet and 1 hand, or 2 hands and 1 foot, firmly planted on the rungs at all times. The ladder has to be on firm ground, pitched at the right angle, secured so it won't slip. And whatever you do, never overreach or try to haul heavy loads by hand while you're climbing.
Now, I want you to look at the sky. Literally. These right here are our stop work conditions: high wind, rain or slippery surfaces, lightning, and poor visibility. I want to make it absolutely crystal clear that when the sky turns dark, when the wind starts howling, or when surfaces get slick, the job stops immediately. Working at height just cannot continue safely in those conditions, and we will wait until the area is clear and safe again.
And hey, let's not forget about the folks working right underneath you. Falling objects are a massive risk to the crew on the ground. Securing your tools, tethering your equipment, making sure those tow boards are installed, and setting up barricades to keep unauthorized people out of the drop zone, that is just as important as your own fall protection. We protect ourselves from falling, and we protect our team from whatever we might accidentally drop.
Finally, let's talk about the absolute worst-case scenario. Say a fall actually happens, and your gear works perfectly and catches you. Awesome, right? Well, the danger isn't over. Have you heard of suspension trauma? It's a critical, life-threatening condition that happens if a worker is left hanging in a harness for too long. Blood starts to pool in the legs, and yes, it can actually be fatal. This terrifying reality is exactly why, before any work at height begins, an emergency rescue plan has to be in place. Every single team member must know the rescue plan, know who to call, and know how to raise the alarm instantly. Immediate rescue is absolutely critical.
All right, that wraps up today's explainer. But I want to leave you with one final, very important thought. No job here is so urgent that it cannot be done safely. Safety is on all of us. It's about planning the work, inspecting your gear, keeping your area clean, and having the guts to stop unsafe work when you see it. Protect yourself, protect your team, and always work safely at height. So armed with this knowledge and a commitment to having each other's backs out there, are you ready to get to work? Let's stay alert and stay protected today.